Here again with Next Level Guitar. What I'm going to dedicate this lesson to, and it's been real successful with some of my private students, is you know, the D chord. Hopefully you all know the D chord. And then the other shape would be the D minor chord, which is a good one. And so what I want to show you is what you can do with both of those chords. You can actually shift them up to become other chords, and I'm gonna just walk you through it. I'll just limit us to the D shape, but the concept is really cool, and it carries over to other shapes as well. So if I take this D chord, and actually right now I'm just gonna, when I play these shapes as I move them up, I'm just gonna focus on the top 3 strings of the chord itself, instead of the, you know, the open D string as well. So we're just going to focus on the high E, the B, and the G string. So if I play this D chord right here, we could call that a D triad. But the cool thing is if I scoot it up a whole step, an E major triad. So that's really cool. Listen to how it matches up with my normal E chord. It's the same chord. So right off the bat, if someone was strumming an E major chord, you could actually play this one and complement him. And you're playing 2 different voicings of the same chord. And then the other cool thing with the D shape is that you have, you know, your pinky's free to have a nice sus4 is what it would be called, that you could kind of tickle off and on, like. Then you could also, if you're brave, you could move your pinky up from, you know, where your pinky would be on that sus. You can move it up a whole step and add that too. And now all of a sudden that's kind of an exotic sound as opposed to. Kind of cool. Okay, E to F in music, all musical instruments, is a half step. So if I wanted to play an F major triad, I take this D major shape right here and I move it up a half step. Now I have an F chord. Okay, there it is. F major. A whole step up from F is a G chord. So now, right there, the same D shape, the first chord I ever learned, I've just played as an E major chord, an F major chord, and a G major chord. And I didn't know that for years.
It's magic!
It is magic. We got this G major now, all right? So one thing that's tricky is, like, if you just wanted to immediately use the D shape to go to a G chord, you're going to have to kind of know where the location is. But if you know, you can climb up. So we have D, up a whole step to E, up a half step to F, a whole step to G. Okay? Then after that, G is the last note in music before it starts over to A again. So if I moved this up a whole step, now I have an A major triad. Move it up another whole step, B major triad. Okay, the other spot in music where it's only a half step between the natural notes is B up to C. So if I want this little shape that's a B chord right now to go up to C, I just scoot it up a half step. Now I have a C major chord. And maybe in some, this won't be related to the to this lesson, but you know, a lot of times I've seen it in, you know, books like guitar books, like chord books and stuff. You know, a lot of times they would do something like have you do this, play all the shapes, you know, of a chord all the way up into all these different ranges, like. And now you know, you have a C chord that you can play up and down the whole neck. But maybe we'll do another video on that. The cool thing is we could take the D minor shape and do the exact same concept and have all those chords as minor chords. I'll just pick the A minor chord because everyone, you know, knows the A, well, most people know A minor. So I could go D minor, E minor, F minor, G minor, A minor. You see what I mean? Like, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Right? And it's a real pretty sound, and it's just a chord that you might have learned really early on in your journey. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take just a real standard chord progression of easy open chords and just show you how to use this concept to embellish those simple chords. And I feel this is another good like rut lesson, you know, when you're working on your chords and you feel like that's all you know. So here's what I took. I took a I took a G chord. And then I took a C chord, right? I mean, you know, it's not rocket science. And then I played an E minor chord. I wanted to throw, you know, a minor chord in there. And then a D chord, the regular D chord. So here's the progression again. G, C, E minor, and the D. So now let's talk about the D shape of all those chords. The first chord was G major. So I have D, E, half step to F, whole step to G. So now this is the little G major triad instead of this G chord. And, you know, I don't know how you would want to remember where that is, but my middle finger of that chord is on the 7th fret. And it's a little D shape right there. Just like that, instead of... Or even better, your friend's playing that G, and I'm playing this G. You know? Okay, so we have G. The next chord is a C major chord. I'm going to go, you know, this is G, so up a whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C. So now my middle finger of that D shape is on the 12th fret, and we're going to play this as it's a C major chord, or a C major triad. So let's hear that G and C together. Cool? All right. The next chord of the progression was E minor. And so I'm going to use a D minor shape because we said the word minor. And so if I take this D minor chord right here, I'm going to move it up a whole step and it becomes E minor, a really cool E minor chord. You hear that? So here's what we have. We have G to C, E minor as my D minor shape. And then I'm going to just play our regular D chord for D. But in a second, I'm going to show you even a cool way to change that, and it's still a regular D chord. And it's a really nice chord that one of my guitar teachers taught me. I guess, does he get a residual for that?
Footnote.
Footnote, all right. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to play it now along with the loop. I looped that progression earlier, and I'm going to play these D shapes now. There it is. It a little bit. elementary, I find. You know, you don't have to be playing for that long to use that stuff. Like I said, it's the D chord, you know? I mean, who knew, right? And the concept of taking like a shape and moving it around and having it become something else works. That concept is a really good one because it works with scale shapes and it works with other chords too.